They say the cruelest knives don't come from strangers, they come from the people who raised you. I learned that the night my 6-year-old's joy was shattered with 2 words written on a place card. 2 words that turned a ballroom full of light into a graveyard. The hall glittered like something out of a dream. Crystal chandeliers dripping light, roses spilling over tall glass vases, music weaving through the air like silk. My parents had been bragging for months, and now I understood why. This wasn't just a wedding. It was their parade, their stage, their proof that their golden boy had made it.my daughter. Lila had never seen anything so magical. She twirled in her pale blue dress, her curls bouncing, her little hands pointing at the cake taller than her, the music, the flowers. She whispered, "Mama, it's like a castle." For a moment, I let myself believe maybe, just maybe, tonight would give her something beautiful to remember. Then the ushers began seating people. Every chair held a neat card with a name in gold script. Lila spotted hers before I did. She rushed ahead, eyes wide, climbing onto her chair like she belonged there, like she was one of them. She held up her card proudly. "Mama, it has writing," she giggled, and then she sounded it out. Slowly, carefully, her little voice cutting through the air. F-I-K-E daughter. The laughter didn't come from the crowd. It came from her lips, too proud of herself for reading to realize what she'd just said. Until the meaning caught her. Until her smile broke like glass. Silence swept the table. The kind of silence that isn't quiet at all. It hums, it burns. I could feel every eye flicker toward us, then away, as if watching a car crash but not daring to admit it. And then my mother laughed. A high, sharp sound like glass breaking. "Oh, come on. We didn't think she could read yet. It's just a joke." My brother, Ethan, leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Well, technically it's true, isn't it? She's not really yours." Lila froze, her lip trembling, her small hands clutching the card like it was burning her skin. She looked at me, searching, pleading for an answer I couldn't give in front of them. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. That's what they wanted, to watch me unravel so they could call me dramatic. Instead, I stood, lifted Lila into my arms, and said one sentence. "We're leaving." Their laughter followed me out, but my heels against the marble floor were louder. Louder than their whispers. Louder than Lila's silence against my shoulder. "Here's what you need to know. My parents never wanted me. They wanted a son. When Ethan was born, I became invisible. Dad, who never had time for me, suddenly had endless hours to toss a ball with his boy. Mom lit up at every sound he made like it was music from heaven. I wasn't jealous. I was awake. I saw the truth. I wasn't enough because I wasn't him. By the time I met Daniel, my husband, I thought I'd grown numb. I was babysitting his little girl, abandoned by her birth mother, and somewhere between bedtime stories and midnight terrors, she became mine before I even realized it. And Daniel, he was steady. He loved me quietly, without conditions, without a stage. For the first time in my life, I felt chosen, but when I told my parents about us, their faces twisted like I'd dragged dirt into their spotless house. "He's older, damaged, and raising someone else's child?" My father sneered. They didn't whisper their disgust. They spat it right in my face. When Daniel died in that accident, I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd soften. I begged them, "Please, be there for Lila. She just lost her father." My dad didn't even lower his newspaper. "She's not yours to keep. When are you giving her back? Give her back." As if she were furniture on loan. But I held on. I built a world for her and me, even if it was just the two of us. Until Ethan's wedding came along, and with it, that cursed card. That wasn't an accident. That was a message. When I walked out of that ballroom, I thought it was over. But hours later, the call started. 57 missed calls. 32 messages. "What did you tell her?" My mother shrieked when I finally picked up. "Tell who?" I asked the bride. She left. She walked out of the reception. "You ruined everything." And just like that, the blame shifted. My brother showed up the next morning, red-faced, demanding I fix his broken marriage. As if 3 words I whispered to his wife, "I believe you," were enough to topple their empire. But the real blow came days later. A knock at my door, and there she was. Lila's birth mother. Neat hair, clear eyes. Not the broken ghost I'd imagined. "My parents contacted me," she said softly. "They told me I should know, that my daughter shouldn't be raised by a stranger." My blood turned to ice. They had gone that far. They had tried to rip my daughter from my arms by summoning the one person who could. For weeks, I lived in terror. Every knock, every unknown number. I thought it was the day I'd lose her. Until finally, one message. I don't want to disrupt her life. If you want to adopt her formally, I'll sign the papers. But if she ever wants to know me, I'll be here. I sat on the floor, phone shaking in my hands, sobbing harder than I had even at Daniel's funeral. Not because I was afraid anymore, but because my parents had lost. They tried to weaponize blood. But love was stronger. So, when Lila asked me again that night, her little voice trembling, "Mama, are you sure you'll never give me back?" I pulled her close, kissed her forehead, and said the only truth that matters. Forever. You are mine. And no one, not even family, can take that away. You know, people think the worst betrayal comes from enemies. But the cuts that bleed the deepest come from the hands that once tucked you in at night. So tell me, if you were me, would you cut them off forever? Or would you still let blood define family?